Happy Taco Tuesday, gang. We are looking at game 4 between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Today's video, I've got a few different NBA player props that have very high hit rates, good head-to-head historical hit rates, and are projecting well across multiple NBA projection models. So if you're new here and you're into betting on NBA player props, I suggest that you hit the subscribe button. It's free for you to do, and I'm doing all the stat diving, research, and analysis and sending it out in videos for you on the channel regularly. And while you're down there hitting the subscribe button, if you don't mind hitting the like button, let's try to run the likes up to as many as possible. 100 or more is always the objective. Let's see if we can get that done today. I appreciate everybody in advance. And of course, those of you who have been tuning into these videos recently, you know that I've been giving away a free month of Dub Club, which is our VIP community where I send out all my picks, plays, and parlays. Myself and other trusted community members are posting winning slips each and every day. So shout out to everybody who's in Dub Club, and let's pick a winner now. And it looks like it's going to be Lomroe. Lomroe. I guess that's how you say that. Anyway, Jalen Brunson over 29.5 points was his pick. This was back from our video on the 23rd, a few days ago. And happy to announce that Jalen Brunson did go over 29.5 points. So congratulations to you. Now all you need to do is go down to the description of this video, click the free Discord link. Once you're inside of Discord, DM me, and then I will DM you back a special Dub Club link where you can get 30 days of all access, picks, plays, and parlays, helpful stats and information being sent out to you and the rest of the Dub Club community via our Discord server. So congratulations to you. And if you want to be like him, all you got to do, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and comment your favorite player prop of the day. It doesn't have to be NBA. We got a ton of WNBA and a ton of MLB games going on today. So if you decide to post a player prop from a non-NBA game, that's totally fine as well. So anyway, let's move on and get into today's NBA player props. Now, I play all my player props, whether it be NBA, MLB, WNBA, etc. Most of them are played here on PrizePicks. They just give you way more ways to play. Now, one guy in particular kind of caught my eye this morning. We're going to start with the New York Knicks and OG Anobi. There was a few different player props that really stood out to me. One would be the over on his 15.5 points. The other would be the over on his 16.5 points plus assists. Another way that you could go here is the 3-point attempts at 5.5. And then the last one is going to be the field goal makes at 5.5 as well. If that one's still on the board here, let me see. I don't actually see that one. All right, so we'll just go with those first three that I mentioned because I don't see the field goal makes up on the board anymore. So maybe they pulled that one down. Anyway, these three all really high hit rates, all good head-to-head historical hit rates versus the Indiana Pacers, and all pretty much projecting well here across the board over on RotoWire. So let's go over to RotoWire and take a closer look at OG Anobi today. Now, if we plug in his name and you take a look at some of the lean more options that this tool provides, this tool's going to making player prop picks a lot easier on you. Your life is going to be in a much better place by using this tool. And the reason I say that is because not only is it going to look at sportsbook data and DFS pick'em app data, but it's also going to look at the hit rates, and it's also going to give you a projection for a given player and his player prop. So it kind of takes all those different data points and boils them down here to this nice little lean more, lean less chart. But nonetheless, the points and assists was one that kind of caught my eye. So let's start with that one. Now, I've just been looking at like the last 10 games, getting a more recent sample size. And over the last 10 games, Anobi has went over 16.5 points plus assists in 70% of his games. So pretty solid hit rates overall. Sometimes he just completely disappears. I mean, he did that a few times in the Boston series, but has yet to do that in this Indiana series. He's actually 3 for 3 against the Pacers in covering this particular prop with 18, 17, and 18 points plus assists. Now, you also take a look at how he's done against Indiana this season. Well, he's 4 for 5. So 4 out of the 5 head-to-heads against the Pacers this season, he has gone over, and he's riding a 4-game hit streak, 27, 18, 17, and 18 points plus assists against the Pacers. And on top of that, he's projected for about 19.5 points plus assists according to RotoWire. So that's the first way that you could potentially play OG Anobi. The other one that I mentioned was his points. Now, over the last 10 games, he's also hit the points prop at a 70% clip, averaging about 15.5 points per game, which happens to be exactly where his player prop line is set today. On top of that, against Indiana, he is now riding, again, a 4-game hit streak where he's gone over 15.5 points in 4 straight games. And overall, the last 9 head-to-heads, he's gone over in 5 out of 9, so a 56% hit rate. The other one that I mentioned was the 3-point attempts. 3-point attempts is another good way to go. Over the last 10 games, he's hit this at a 70% hit rate as well. So with the 3-point attempts, he just has to shoot them. He doesn't necessarily have to make them. This is just about getting 3-point shots up, not necessarily making shots. So if you feel like maybe OG Anobi will get the shots, but maybe he doesn't have a good shooting game, which is entirely possible, you could take the 3-point attempts instead of the points or the points plus assists. But 70% hit rate on this one as well. Even the games where he's missed this prop, he's still pretty close most of the time. So it should be one that he's, at least in the ballpark on. So he's got 4 and 5 in some of the games that he's missed. So he's definitely going to be getting some shots up as he typically does. Now against Indiana over the course of this season, again, those 5 head-to-head matchups, he's hit this one in 3 out of 5 head-to-head from this season alone. So not quite as good of a hit rate as the points or the points plus assists, but definitely one that I think is viable and one that you should consider taking on some of your slips today. So 3 different ways to play OG Anobi. So let's move on to his teammate and the next pick for this video. We're going to be clearing this out and going over to Mikal Bridges. Now, Mikal Bridges, for a period of time there, was not known as a rebounder, was not known as an assist man, but his rebounds have definitely picked up over the course of the playoffs. And 4 rebounds is kind of low for him, especially coming off of a game where he kind of had a low rebound total. Maybe he's due for a bounce back. That's kind of how you have to play some of these NBA player props, is if you see like a trend where a guy's done really well on a particular player prop and then he kind of has like a down game, typically he will look to bounce back, or he usually will bounce back and get closer to what he's been averaging over like a 10-game sample size throughout the playoffs. So that's kind of the situation with this one with Mikal Bridges. He's going to get 4 rebounds today. So again, we're going to go over to RotoWire and take a closer look. If we punch in Mikal Bridges' name here, you're going to see a few different ways that you could play Bridges. There are tools like the lean more on the points plus rebounds, which is another solid option if you ask me. 3-point attempts are looking decent, points plus assists, but the one that kind of caught my eye was this rebound prop. Now, over the last 10 games, Mikal Bridges has hit 4 or more rebounds in 70% of the games that he's played in, so 7 out of 10. Now, this is going back to the Detroit series, covers all the Boston series, and covers what we've seen so far in this Indiana series. So you could see here that over the last 10 games that he's played in, when he does miss his rebound prop, he typically does bounce back up. At least that's been the case over the last 10 games or so. So for instance, you see he had 4 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds, right? Goes all the way down to 3 rebounds, but then comes back the next game with 7 rebounds. So nice little bounce back. Same situation here. After that 7 rebound game, he comes down to earth with just 2 rebounds. But then over the next 3 games, 4 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds. So he only had 2 rebounds in his last game against Indiana. So perhaps tonight is a night where he bounces back up to that average over the last 10 games, which is sitting out at 4.8 rebounds. 2 rebounds was definitely a low rebound performance for him. So I could definitely see a scenario where he comes back to life here, getting 4 or more boards. Now, against the Indiana Pacers, over the last 9 head-to-head matchups against them, he's had at least 4 rebounds in a majority of the games here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of 9, he's had more than 4 rebounds. Now, as far as the head-to-heads go, well, this season alone, he's got 4 out of 6 games where he's had at least 5 or more rebounds. So that 2 rebound number does seem a little bit low. We've seen him clear 4 rebounds on multiple occasions against this Indiana Pacers team, especially in this series where he had 6 rebounds in game 1, 7 rebounds in game 2. And again, he just had that 2 rebound performance. So we need him to come back to life here. So this could be a good opportunity for us to take a guy who had a little bit of a rebounding slump, and perhaps he perks back up this evening. So there you go. There's another pick from the New York Knicks side. Now we're going to swing things over to the Indiana Pacers side, and if this sounds familiar, well, it should be, because this guy continues to crush both of these props, hit at a very high clip. Talk about Miles Turner here for 5 field goal makes or more. I like the over on that one based on what he's done here recently and against this team, the New York Knicks. And then the other one was the 7 rebounds plus assists. This one's also looking pretty juicy as well. So both of these props I think are viable options. Fairly safe, if you could even say the word safe in the NBA playoffs when betting on the NBA playoff player props. Nothing's really safe, generally speaking, but especially during the playoffs. But nonetheless, these tend to be a little bit more safe, just kind of based on the hit rates and such. But let's take a look here at Miles Turner at 5 field goal makes and at 7 rebounds plus assists. Going over to the RotoWire tool here. And by the way, if you want to get your hands on this RotoWire tool, I've got a way for you to save 25% off a 6-month or 12-month membership. Just go down to the description of today's video, look for that special RotoWire link and promo code CJ Curry. That's how you'll save yourself a boatload of cash on a 6-month or 12-month. Not only does it cover NBA, but it also covers WNBA, which just started up recently. MLB, we're about a third of the way through the MLB season. Covers other sports too that are a little bit more obscure, like esports, like UFC, a little bit of everything through this RotoWire tool. And it's not only going to be helpful for PrizePicks players, but Underdog, Sleeper, and a lot of different sports books are covered as well. So if you want that 25% discount, go down to the description of today's video. But continuing on here, looking at Miles Turner, the points plus rebounds, one of the top plays according to the RotoWire tools here. But the other ones that I was looking at was the rebounds plus assists or the field goal makes, which are also at 5. So let's start with the rebounds plus assists here. Popping this one up, if you look over the last 10 games for Miles Turner, he's had at least 7 or more rebounds plus assists in 80% of the games that he's played in. So 8 out of 10 hit rate over the last 10 games, averaging right around 7.6 rebounds plus assists in that span. Now, what has he done here against the New York Knicks? Well, head-to-head speaking, over the last 15 head-to-head matchups against the Knicks, he's had at least 7 or more rebounds plus assists in 73% of the game. So really consistent in this head-to-head matchup versus New York. 7.7 is the rebounds plus assists per game average. Now, some of these games are from last season, so dates back. It kind of covers last season and this season. Now, if you're thinking about just this season alone, well, he's played the New York Knicks now a total of 5 times from this season. And out of those 5 times that he's played him, he's had at least 7 rebounds plus assists in 4 out of 5. So can't really ask for much more than that. An 80% hit rate head-to-head versus New York this season. Continues to be pretty consistent. And yeah, could this potentially tie? Could this potentially push? Of course it could. As you can see here, he lands on 7 quite often, quite frequently. But if it does tie or push, that doesn't necessarily mean you lose on PrizePicks. That just means, like if you played it in a 6 pick, it would come down to a 5 pick, which isn't the worst thing in the world when you're talking about player props. So this one looking pretty solid. Now, the other one that I mentioned was his field goal makes. Now, those are also set at 5. They've been pretty much set at 5 for the entirety of this series against the Knicks. And he continues to hit 5 or more field goal makes, not only versus the Knicks, but over the last 10 games or so, he's done really well throughout the playoffs at making at least 5 shots. Again, these are field goal makes. This could be a 3-point make. This could be a 2-point make. Doesn't matter if it's a 2 or a 3. As long as the ball's going through the hoop, that's all we care about with this particular prop here. So 5 field goal makes is the lucky number. So if we take a look here, of his last 10 games, all of which are playoff games, he has now gone over 5 field goal makes in 80% of those games, 8 out of 10. So really solid, really consistent. 5.8 field goal makes per game on average. And then you take a look at what he's done against the New York Knicks here. Again, a total of 15 head-to-head games dating back to last season. In those 15 head-to-heads, an 87% hit rate, averaging right around 6.2 field goal makes per game. Not only that, but in this head-to-head matchup here versus the Knicks, he is now riding an incredible streak of 5 or more field goal makes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight head-to-heads. He's made at least 5 buckets against the New York Knicks. So talk about consistency. If you're looking for something that's consistent, doesn't get much more consistent than a guy who is hitting 5 or more field goal makes against his opponent in 10 straight games and in 87% of the games overall over the last 15 head-to-head. So this one looking pretty good, projected for about 5.5 field goal makes. So we'll just have to see how Miles Turner does tonight. But I thought this one was definitely worth pointing out to you guys. But here's the portion of the video where I shut up and I let you grab the microphone. Let me know down in the comments section below. Are you liking these picks? Hating these picks? Are you going to pair any of these picks with your favorite Taco Tuesday player projection discounts over on PrizePicks? Let me know down in the comments section below. And if you want to get entered in to win a free month of Dub Club, just be a subscriber, which is free for you to do. Hit the like button, which is free to do as well. And then comment your favorite player prop of the day, whether it's NBA, WNBA, or MLB. We don't care. The community just wants more winning picks. So if you have some, share them down below, and then I can reward you with a free month of Dub Club, hopefully in the next video. Good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. We will see you inside of Dub Club and Discord real soon. Peace.